To start the show, I have a 2-for-1 idea for you. 2 great shops, 1 great street. Like me, I'm sure you're looking for the perfect gift this holiday season. In fact, just the other day, I was on my way to a holiday birthday party and I was in need, but I knew where to go while shopping local. I knew I could find something special for everyone at my list at either City Bird or Nest, 2 neighboring boutiques on West Canfield Street in Detroit's Midtown. Unique, thoughtful, and local, these 2 spots have it all. City Bird offers a curated selection of jewelry, candles, home goods, and apparel by hundreds of local and independent makers. And don't forget the cards. Here, let me tell you, the cards for any occasion are truly special. At Nest, you're going to find all the details that make a house your home, including some of the best ornaments around. So visit City Bird and Nest today and make new memories, not just by buying gifts, but enjoying our city while you do it. They're located in Detroit on West Canfield between Cass and 2nd Avenues in Midtown, or online at citybirddetroit.com. That's citybirddetroit.com. Hello and welcome to a sunny daily Detroit on this Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. We're here at the studio at Tech Town. I'm J.R. Stays. Joining me at the table to my left is none other than the excellent Fletcher Sharp. Good to see you.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And then to my right, our guest for today's conversation, Maxwell Murray. He's the founder of the Urban Football League and manager of youth and community programs for Detroit City FC. Welcome to the show, man.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Fletcher.
So, really simple question. Who are you?
My name is Maxwell Murray. I'm a Detroit native, East Sider. Spent some years in Chicago as well, so that definitely developed me and made me into who I am in different bits and manners. But yeah, no, I'm Maxwell Murray, Detroit, born and bred. Played soccer my whole life from the age of 3 all the way up until now. Some moments of that was competitive. Now it's a bit more community-centered. But yeah, that's really the makeup of who I am.
And that kind of leads into the following question, kind of overarching. What exactly is the Urban Football League?
The Urban Football League is kind of the question in which you just asked me. If we really think about it, it is really all the facets that make up who I am as a person. Obviously, first and foremost, the beautiful game. Like I mentioned, just played it the entirety of my life. My earliest core memories are centered around, moments of scoring goals or driving to tournaments or making friends on the field, trying out different tricks. It's also a culmination of my travels throughout the world, going to places like London, Morocco, Brussels, soaking up the experiences that I had in those places where the game came into connection with that, wanting to bring some of those experiences back home, as well as being a student of African and Black diasporic studies and recognizing the ways in which the game works as a tool to connect people from the diaspora all across the world.
So when I first was introduced to Max, it was through David Dwayhe from DCFC. Shout out to Dave. And he was like, you guys aren't the same, but you have some pretty similar ideals about some things. I think you guys should maybe talk. And he introduced me to Max through the Urban Football League, and it was just an Instagram page online. I saw the really cool photos of just people playing hard surfaces, basketball courts with just a ball, maybe some nets, maybe some shoes. I was like, that's a really cool idea. It's an idea that, to me, feels like it is soccer, but kind of how it's supposed to be, for everyone. It's not like, as you mentioned, through youth, I know there's, plateaus of having to pay for stuff, having to go places and things of that nature. And it's more so we're in the neighborhood playing. It might be me and my friends, might be me and some neighborhood kids, might be some people I don't know, but just show up, play, have some fun, and, of course, take care of the neighborhood you are. And I'm like, I want to get to Chicago to take part in that, just to be, not even play, but just to be around it. It seems like a cool thing. And then, all of a sudden, Max was like, hey, I'm back. And I was like, that's cool. Maybe the Urban Football League will come back. And then one Saturday, I saw a thing on Instagram. I was like, be here. I was like, all right, I will. And getting to experience it firsthand as just someone who was there and just watching how obviously different walks of life, some people come from one place, some people come from the area, some people come from very far away. And just to see how in the middle of the court the ball's being kicked around on, like everyone is this. I mean, obviously skill levels are different, but like everyone is there for the common goal of we're just there to enjoy ball. That's really it. And I think things like these are great for the community. I think things like these are great for even just the soccer side of it. If you want to introduce someone to the sport, it's a way to kind of get them in a lower stakes. Not like you go there, if you make a mistake, we got to hook you out of here, you're done. But like you show up and just get to enjoy the sport and learning about it and learning about other things as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, one of the first things I was thinking about as you were speaking, I don't believe in paying for soccer. I don't believe in paying for that experience. It's something, when I was in Morocco, staying in a Medina that I don't know how old it is, there were kids using the door archways that were built out of like dirt as goals, and like they're kicking around cans, and they're still experiencing the same level, if not more, joy than the kids who do have everything at their feet and at their fingertips to play the games that they love. So I don't believe in like paying for it. And then, as I mentioned, football is a connector. It's a conduit at the end of the day. It's the most popular and most loved sport in the world for a reason, and that connects to its simplicity. As I just mentioned, you don't even have to have a ball. The majority of the people who play the game and love it so dearly don't have a ball. You don't have to have goals. You can use shoes. You can use cones. You can use a wall. It's a game you can play by yourself, and that's how you really get super good at it, is being able to have that imagination and being able to, rethink how the game can be played and in what spaces can it be played, so on and so forth. And I think in doing that, it opens up the doors for so many other people to step in. When I grew up playing, I was always the only black kid on my team, and that's not to like really hammer in that story or experience, because I still love the game. It's not like that was a limitation on to how I connected to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mention that more so because my mom had to spend a whole bunch of money to make sure that I could play it. And now we have kids who, from Asian backgrounds, black backgrounds, white backgrounds, coming out to Sunday service, and they're playing for free, and they're having this joyous experience and making friends with kids from different clubs, and their parents are able to meet and then work and build a network together. And that's just from the youth side of it. From the adult side of it, you mentioned there's other aspects of learning. Like, that's why the community library is there. That started off as a very youth-focused idea from some summers back in Chicago, where, trying to continue to build literacy while the kids are even out of school. But then I recognize that that's something for everybody. There's people who want to maybe come out and have a communal experience on a Sunday morning, but maybe don't want to play. But how can we still build out the space for connection? And that's like the connection for me through like literacy or literature and writing and journalism and the research aspects. That connects to also one of the core elements of how the Urban Football League started. Like, shout out to Callum Jacobs, the creator of Caricom. And, when I was in London, I was in Classic Football UK shirt shop, and I saw the second iteration of the magazine. There's a black boy on the back cover of it, and he like locked eyes with me. I was like, oh, I got to buy this. And before I left London, I sent him an email, and I was like, I'm going to go back home and I'm going to start something, because like this sparked something in me.
Mm-hmm.
That just speaks to, again, how all these ideals of what the Urban Football League, the aspect of football, the aspect of research, history, writing, the aspect of culture and art, the aspect of community and just coming together, how all those things like connect. And even how, the game is a connector at the end of the day. I think about my relationship with Andre over at Paramita. First time I ever met Andre, came home to visit my mom for her birthday, went over to Marble Bar. He was wearing we were at a Dion Jamar set. He was wearing an Arsenal kit. I was like, oh, I'm an Arsenal supporter. Met him, went back to Chicago, ended up moving back, started going to Paramita. I was like, oh, you remember me? He didn't remember me that much. Now I do personal trainings with his son once a week. I did interviews for him for DCFC for Black History Month. His wife, who is from the UK, is close friends with Callum. So like it's full circle all the way around. And that just shows like truly what the beautiful game is, which is a tool for connection at the end of the day.
I think the coolest part about it, I mean, obviously soccer and football can be a way to like interlock and kind of bring things closer, as with most sport. But I think it's even cooler that it kind of interlocks with like the neighborhood aspect of it and the community aspect of it. It's not just like, we're here to play soccer, we're here to do this. Or they're just here and it's like, my friend is here, told me maybe to drop by one Sunday morning or afternoon to just see what's up. And just it grows. And I remember I think I went to the first one that you had, and it was like there's maybe 8, 9 people total, just about.
I think it might have been 6.
Some people were moving for 2, so I don't know. I wasn't. But I remember I went to one where I was talking. My brother came up from Cincinnati, and I was like, yeah, we're going to go. There might be, I don't know, like maybe 12, 15 people or so. He's like, for sure. We showed up, and there was like 40, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
You might not get the run you think you're going to get, man. And he's like, I'll let you take my time. I'm tired. I'm old. You can run around. I'm just going to get my 1 or 2 runs in and just kind of. And yeah, just even when he left and he went back down to Cincinnati, he was like, I might come up for a weekend. And he's like, this is a cool thing. And it kind of got his gears even turning about just something in the Cincinnati area. Like, how can I find something like this? And just, it's kind of not cyclical, but I mean this in a positive way, but like symbiotic of like, it infected you, you saw something, you made something happen, and other people can then see that and say, I want to do something for a community where I am. And like, it just grows. And anything that is going to not just lock in through sport, but also allow the community to just kind of pair up with it as well and then grow from that, I'm all for it, especially if it's definitely in the city of Detroit, because things like that in this city are definitely needed when they start organically, not from anything else, but just someone wanting to do something where people can express themselves in a positive way. I'm 100% all for it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I met someone over the summer through Sunday service, Sam. He moved to Chicago, and there was one moment in time when he drove all the way back from Chicago for the community cleanup event we had, just to like show face. And he was like, you know, it really inspired me. I believe my homie was telling me the other day that he's trying to like figure out a way to rework the framework or the structure of the idea for like music and what his language is. And I mean, that's kind of also where the idea stems from. It's a reworking of like my mother's like language, which was for me growing up, that was like church. Like my mom's a very spiritual, religious person. I wouldn't even say necessarily religious, just spiritual, spiritually inclined. And I grew up questioning certain things when I was in Chicago. You know, I mean, obviously it's called Sunday service for a reason, and colloquially we call it church. We're like, we'll see you next Sunday at church. And that's because like it's bringing people from different walks of life together through a shared belief or a shared mission or a shared practice. It's not necessarily in God, and maybe there are some people who believe in that there and there's some who don't, but that shouldn't even also be a dividing factor in us doing better for each other, because we all exist here on this plane or this realm together. So yeah, that's the core purpose of what it is bringing people together, making sure that, you know, in a world where football is the beautiful game, it's also incredibly ugly in terms of how it's utilized by a lot of people. We got the World Cup coming here next year. The majority of people who really want to go to that and have that experience won't be able to afford it, as well as the political nature of and climate of this country that we're living in and trying to be a host nation for the world. That's not who we are right now. We can see that. That's obviously not the truth, but we're going to put on the facade for the money. That's why it does not cost to come out there. That's why there's shared food. That's why there's shared space. That's why the extra rations get donated to the local community fridge. Because it's like, how can we utilize football for the good of who we are?
Obviously, having people show up, leave, come back again and again is like a positive feeling. I know you're not doing it strictly for that reason alone, but I have to imagine it's something that you do purely because you enjoy it and you want people to enjoy it. I have to imagine when like people with like donations and big checks come around, like that has to probably feel pretty good too, because it's the feeling of I did this solely because I want to do something, because I want to make a change in a way for, you know, soccer to positively impact the community, for it to impact the youth, for it to grow through whatever. And some people come around and say, hey, we want to do something to help with that. Like, I think that has to feel like a good feeling, probably, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a sign that you're doing what I'm doing is for the right reason. Not necessarily because of the validation of monetary funds, but because it can help continue the work and maybe grow it as well.
So since it's kind of getting cold, you still out there on Sundays, or did you move to somewhere else indoors, or is it just gonna take kind of a dormant break till the next spring comes around?
Yeah, right now it's in like a little bit of a planning stage. I took a few weeks off just to kind of recalibrate where I am with it. And again, trying to figure out what those next steps are with the winter. We got this snow outside on the ground. That won't necessarily stop us from still showing up out there on Sundays. I think, within parameters, it might not be as consistent on an every Sunday type of basis. But there will still be Sundays where we're out there playing, where I have a shovel. Maybe other people will too, and we still kick it. We're lucky to be playing at Social Status right over off of Jefferson and Holcomb, and very grateful for them to allow us to utilize that space on Sunday mornings. So, there's obviously the indoor section as well upstairs. So we utilize that screen up there for, watching or viewing parties of the matches that may be on that time, that 11:30 a.m. slot on Sundays. My plan, and I had spoken to it on the Instagram page, was to start the idea of the football classroom, where I always wanted to create a school one day. And I believe that giving yourself and your friends or local community the power to teach, and also giving them the time to listen and learn from them, can do a lot of change, positive good and change in our local communities. You also probably will pick up a lot of skills and a lot of knowledge in which you probably thought you would have never learned, but didn't know it was so proximal to you. So trying to create this space where I can do talks about the history of Gil Heron and Black soccer history, but then I can also have my other friends come in and do either workshops or presentations on the history of techno here in the city, and maybe doing a little DJ workshop, or having my homie come in and do a financial literacy course, because that is something that as a 26-year-old I'm trying to learn and get under my belt, and so on and so forth. So I think that creating that space, and again, not having a paywall in front of it and making it very communal and built within your own network, could create a lot of positive good as well.
Well, if people want to know more, if they want to get involved, if they want to support what you're doing, maybe financially, or, match up with what you're doing, what can they do?
Yeah, I mean, they can always reach out to me. My information is out there on the DCFC website in terms of getting my email. But then you can also support the Instagram page, the Urban Football League, or at the Urban Football League. And within that, you can get in contact with me. The dream for the Urban Football League one day is to have a wing of it, which is a nonprofit where I'm able to do direct partnerships with schools or community organizations to provide workshops where you utilize street soccer as a tool to connect them to arts and history, but then to also have another wing that's maybe a studio where we're then able to do presentations, talks, our own merchandising lines, which is people have been asking of me for quite some time.
Yes, please.
Different things of that nature. So yeah, I mean, that's the dream. And if there's people who want to work with us to help us get to that point, like I mentioned, having that aspect of giving back, but then also having that wing where we can tell our own stories and, contribute my own creativity to the game and to the world. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, Maxwell Murray, founder of the Urban Football League and manager of youth and community programs for Detroit City FC. Thank you so much for your time on Daily Detroit. We really appreciate you.
No, yeah, most definitely. I appreciate you all as well. Thank you for the opportunity. And shout out to Fletcher, shout out to Billy as well, Chicago connection.
And we are done for today. Thank you so much for listening to your Daily Detroit. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to our members on Patreon, patreon.com/Daily Detroit. Get access to our member-only Discord, our private podcast, and of course, direct connections with us, as well as our sticker pack and our undying thanks. So join us, patreon.com/Daily Detroit. Coming up tomorrow, our big end-of-year predictions episode with none other than Devin O'Reilly. For now, I'm J.R. Stays. Remember that you are somebody, and we'll talk tomorrow.